Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your friendly neighborhood Marco Lesher here, back again with another episode of General Population. We've got another amazing guest, but as is tradition, before we get started, I would like to thank our friends and sponsors who help keep the lights on and moving forward. So, without any further ado, if you're in the LA area and are interested in getting into great shape, then talk to my friends Katia Vaz and George Solorzano from Rio Hot Fitness. That's RIO Hot Fitness. Hey, even if you already are in shape, doesn't really matter. If you want an exclusive setting away from everybody with personal trainers who will absolutely take you to the next level, then give them a call. They also have fitness apparel available, so check into Rio Hot Fitness. RIO. Don't mess up the spelling. I did once, and look how fat I ended up. So, check into Rio Hot Fitness, located on 1849 Sawtell Boulevard, Suite 101, Los Angeles, California, 90025. If you're looking for a visual effects specialist and film editor, then talk to my very good friend Andres Carrillo Gomez. I've worked with him many a time. In fact, I'm working with him again as we speak. I highly recommend you hit the guy up. He's very talented. So, talk to Andres Carrillo Gomez for a quality production, film editing, and visual effects specialist. Just let him know Marco sent you. He'll hook you up. Last but not least, for costume and accessory design, as well as rocker-style apparel, talk to my very talented friend from way back then, Mr. Jeffrey DeBerti, who I've known for several years and is extraordinarily talented. You can find him at JD Fashion Design. You can also find him on Instagram and Facebook, both under his name, Jeffrey DeBerti. So if you're looking for rocker-style apparel, costume, and accessory design, now you know who to find. All right, now if you like this episode and you want to tune into more, there's going to be a whole lot more, so trust me, it might be worth your while to hit the like and subscribe buttons and turn on notifications to move forward together. All right, enough with this shit. Let's watch the episode.
It doesn't make any sense, man.
All right, welcome to General Population. Today, this man needs no introduction, but you know what? He's going to do it his way. Take it away, Mikey. Over the top. I love you, Michaelangelo Batio, man. Welcome aboard General Population. I owe Diane my left kidney. Man, you're amazing. You're amazing. What you been up to?
Marco. Yeah, a lot. We, when COVID hit last year, I had probably, I tour all over, but last year from January to the beginning of March, probably did 45 shows. And then I was scheduled to tour all last year, and then COVID hit, canceled everything.
Tell me
but I released a new record last year called More Machine Than Man. During COVID, we decided, we've delayed it long enough. Let's just put it out already. I'm actually going to tour for that later this year. I've got scheduled in Europe. There's 5 weeks in Europe starting in November. Hopefully the United States before that, starting in the fall. And then I'm with this really cool LA company. They're huge, and not a lot of people know the name, but it's Sawtooth Guitars, and they have another company called ChromaCast. They're massive. They're in Thousand Oaks, right around that area. And so I've been working with them, releasing signature guitars. They have an app. They have a retail store called GoDPS Music, and they have a GoDPS Live app. And I've got 2 concerts coming on this app really soon. One with my band, that's an LA-based band, that if I can get back out there pretty soon.
Hey, man, you can crash at my spot, dude. I tell you
cool.
what, bro.
Cool. But the other concert is, we have other artists endorsees, Vinny Appice, that played in Dio and Black Sabbath, Rudy Sarzo and Whitesnake.
I just interviewed Rudy, so I don't mean to cut you off. I literally just interviewed Rudy. He's an old family friend.
He's a great guy.
Yeah.
So we did a concert with me, Rudy, and Vinny, and then we had this young, she's 19 years old, this female singer named Melody from this young band called Lilac. They average like 21 to 15, and she's awesome. She's an awesome singer. So I've got 2 concerts coming out. in the next few months online. But yeah, just a ton of stuff. I mean, as busy as you can be without touring.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
that's the weirdest part, man. I was gonna ask you. I mean, I've got a list of questions here. We'll
Sure.
touch on all that stuff, and I tell you what. When I told a lot of my friends, my band, my family, my aunt is Charo. I told her I was going to
That's
interview
right.
you. She was like, "Ask him if he is a human being."
I used,
Like,
you know,
what fucking planet are you from, man? Like,
well,
God.
it's funny I've seen her so many times on TV when I was playing, starting playing guitar. I mean, she's obviously was really
Yeah,
beautiful,
she
but
goes.
man, could she play guitar?
Yeah,
I used to freak out. I mean, it was like, I mean, her looks definitely she looked very Hollywood,
yeah.
but her talent was unbelievable. It is unbelievable. Yeah, I've probably seen her 15 or more times on TV before. I don't even know. It's been a lot. Yeah.
That's the funny part. Is growing up, I had to develop thick skin because like people would come at me first. Hey, your aunt's the Love Boat lady with the big tits, man. And I'm like, she plays the guitar, right? Like,
Right.
Come on, there's other shits there. Anyway, I guess that's the first question, man. Is are you human, and how can we all be sure?
More machine than man.
Yeah,
I
right.
feel good,
Holy monkey. Yeah. We'll just start from the top, dude. So who the hell inspired you, man? I know that's a freaking cliche question everybody asks everybody else, but on a real level, like who the hell got your mojo going, man? And that's a two-part question, but
music and art run in my family. Like I have paintings in my house from my great grandfather who was an artist. And so I inherited artistic ability. I can draw good, but I didn't like that part of the art as much as I liked music. So really what started me is my mom played piano. And so I used to watch her play, and she was good. And so I started playing at 5 years old on piano, but it wasn't really like an artist. It was a sound, and the sound was guitar. When I heard distortion
I'm like,
guitar,
yes, fuck the
I was like,
question.
this is it. Yeah. And then all the bands that, the typical ones, the Hendrixes and all that. But I was really more influenced by more like extreme guitar playing, the Alan Holdsworth and, Al Di Meola, and just, really technical players,
A buddy of mine. Sorry. A buddy of mine, Keith Batlin. He's an old friend of mine. He was wondering if you're inspired by Richie Blackmore at all.
I saw him play in concert. I had second row. I wasn't even old enough to drive. And my friend that was 17 had a license. And I remember seeing him. I had already started playing over the neck as a kid because I played piano. And so I remember watching Blackmore, and all he did was he did this move where he didn't play over the neck. He just kind of went like this, like a swipe on the guitar. And, the word that came to mind, overt, big things. And so I started being really flamboyant from that time.
Yes.
So, yeah. But so that's how he inspired me. I mean, any guitarist that says they don't like him, if you write the riff to Smoke on the Water, that's 100 years from now. It's a super famous riff. He's I was inspired by him, not so much his technique, but the way his showmanship was. I thought it was really cool. And his songwriting.
Second part of that question. I know Eddie Van Halen was more your contemporary. You guys basically were the same gig, but how did he play in your life? Like, was there any inspiration to what he was up to, or did you already have the shit kind of dialed in your way?
Well, I had my playing dialed in, but I grew up in the Chicago area. So I didn't turn into Michaelangelo Batio before I moved to LA. I was just Mike Batio. I looked like it's like Mikey. But when I saw Van Halen and heard Van Halen, he blew my mind. And I actually did a show with him. We did a benefit for Jason Becker. And it was me on guitar, Billy Sheehan on bass, Steve Lukather, Zach Wilde, and Eddie headlined the show in Chicago. And after the show, he came. I'd never even heard him speak. And he's like, Mike, he had that kind of, hey, Mike, come over here. And so we talked one-on-one for about a half an hour. Told me I was a great guitarist. And then one of his assistants came in and said, this woman, she's like, Edward, we have to go. And so then he gives me a kiss on the cheek, like he
Not
did
gay
the
at
Les
all.
Paul.
Not gay. Not
Yeah,
gay.
exactly. Yeah, I'm like, if you were anybody but him.
We got fucking.
But it was, I loved him, and I know his son Wolf, not really, really well, but I've met him a couple times, and because I know Mark Tremonti really well, and Wolf played in Mark's solo band, and so I saw Mark. I've known him with Creed and with Alter Bridge, and then with the solo band, Wolf plays bass, and I remember the first time I met him. It was really funny. It was like in a movie, like Mark goes this, and he goes to introduce us, and Wolf goes, "Hi, Mike, I'm Wolf." I go, "Hi, Wolf," and I said, because he didn't go by Wolfgang. Maybe he changed it now, but this
Wolfie
is just
G.
a few years.
If he was a rapper, he'd be Wolfie G for sure, dude.
Exactly. Yeah, but
Van Halen people.
But on this app, on this concert, we're releasing our version of Ain't Talking About Love. And I did that's coming up Friday. And then I did a EVH tribute. It's really killer. It's online. I weaved like a medley of like 8 or 9 different Roth era songs. And it ends with Running with the Devil. There's Jump. I do the keyboard part from Jump on the
guitar. Man, it's pissing me off. Look, everybody, I know this is fucking annoying, right? But we're having technical difficulties dialing in his guitar right now. So obviously,
I don't understand that. It's really weird.
It just cuts out. Your voice is great, but it just cuts. Yeah, see, as soon as you start getting nutty, it just kind of cuts out. I don't know.
So this cuts out, right?
Yeah. It went.
I don't know.
Hey, you know what, man? It's a teaser. It's a teaser.
Wait, I do know. There's some setting in here. Hang on a second.
How do you I have so many questions. I mean, seriously, you're going to have to be back on the show anyway, but I have so many questions for you, man. You don't even know what kind of a role you
Enable original sound. Check this out.
Go for
it. Okay.
Thank you. Son of a bitch. All right, cool. We're back.
That's what it is. I forgot, because when I was with Herman Lee on his show, you have to do enable original sound. There's some kind of bizarre condenser here.
There you are. God damn it, Michael. So Kobe joined the party. He's been biting at my ankles.
Kobe.
Wants to say
I
hi.
love dogs.
It's my guy right here. This is one of my heroes, buddy. So you'd be nice. All right. So, who inspired you? Obviously, we went through all that. I've been to a lot of your gigs accidentally in weird places, like the Rainbow anniversaries and like the Shred Fest when NAMM comes around and shit like that.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, man. And I noticed you play a lot of, or not a lot of, but you do like Cowboys from Hell and stuff like that. Like, tell me about you and Dimebag, like what kind of relationship you guys had, because that's amazing. Like you're holding down fort and you're doing that shit, and like I love it. Like I fucking love it. I'm a big fan of Dimebag and you. So tell me what the history is with you and Pantera, specifically Dimebag.
Well, when I was in the band Nitro, we were an LA-based band, and our first album did really well, but we were hanging around with too many people the label thought we shouldn't be if we're going to record a good record. Because at the time, Steven Adler was still in Guns N' Roses, and we're hanging out with the guys from Poison, and total debauchery. You know what I mean? Totally LA.
Yeah, we're going to get to those questions at the end of this goddamn thing.
And but it was crazy. So they told us they want us to record in Orlando, Florida, at this beautiful studio called Full Sail. It's still there. And we're like, that's Mickey Mouse. That's not metal.
Right.
But anyway, we recorded there. And beautiful, multi-million-dollar studio. I mean, it was just gorgeous. And we had a big house out there, pool, the whole 9 yards.
Well,
so anyway,
I don't mean to cut you off, but what you got in the background is fucking gorgeous. But anyway.
Oh yeah, it's pretty happening. Yeah, this is my studio in my house. It's big.
All right. Go ahead. God damn it.
Yeah, because I have the control room here, and that's the video area back there. And then there's another room here. Yeah, it's like bigger than a lot of apartments. Crazy.
No, it's like I could fit like 3 of my places in your goddamn bathroom over there. Anyway, go ahead, tell me.
But anyway, so my guitar tech was from Fresno, and his nickname was Dragon. And Dragon's like, dude, man, I heard this new band, bro. And so he had a cassette of Pantera. And I'm like, what is a Pantera, man? What kind of name? Can you imagine? Yeah, I have a new band called Kiss. Oh, really? You know what I mean? What's the name?
Right.
So anyway, puts in the cassette. But here's how I met Dime. He goes, dude, they're playing in Orlando in a couple weeks at a local rock club. They weren't big yet.
Right.
And so Cowboys from Hell had just been released. I go, really? So Nitro brings the whole posse. We lived with our road crew, and we brought our bodybuilder friends from the local gym. We had about 12, 15 people. We walk in. What's that? Well, we always did.
You're like, yeah, we just brought bodybuilders. We needed.
We always just said that because Jim, the singer of Nitro, is a big bodybuilder.
I was going to ask you about Nitro, but anyway, I want to hear this Dime story, man.
So anyway, we go into this club. It was called Plus 3. We saw there were no cars in the parking lot. It was completely dead. We go in. There's a circular bar. The hot Florida babes are there. I'm not saying that. I mean, California is amazing too, but I'm just saying, like, these, rocked out Florida style rock and roll babes. And so all of a sudden there's nobody in the audience. We were the only ones there, maybe one or two people. It's completely empty. Pantera walks on stage. Now, I'm a big basketball fan too. I mean, being from Chicago, Jordan. But, at this time, we're talking now the early 90s. Picture Magic Johnson and Larry Bird in those super short shorts, right?
God,
that was the era back then. And Dime walks on stage with those long shorts past his knee with this pink beard. I'm like, this dude's weird. And here's me, Mr. LA, And I stood about 10 feet from the stage just by myself, just watching him and just listening to this massive guitar tone and these squeals.
Give us a little something, man. Give us a little something.
Just these crazy things. And and he stops in the show after the song and goes like this. He goes, is that Michaelangelo? Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, dude. He goes, I got your instructional video, bro.
Dude, I did too, son of a gun. I fucking did too, man.
Yeah. Well, he goes, you're like my guitar teacher, dude.
For real, bro.
And so after that, we became friends. After he goes, Pantera's dedicating the set to Michaelangelo. Man. And that's how we met. And then we became buddies. And unfortunately, when I did a cover album. It's called Hands Without Shadows. I did like my version of Deep Purple and Aerosmith and Metallica and all this. And Dime was scheduled to play on it. His next tour stop was Chicago. And we were going to do a Van Halen song because he was a big Van Halen fan.
Yeah, that was his last words. That was his last damn words to Vinnie Paul. Because they would like take a shot of Crown or whatever the hell before their shows. And what got them going was Kiss and Van Halen. So before every gig, Vinnie Paul and Dimebag would take a shot and go, Van Halen. That's the last damn thing he talked to his brother about. Like, that's it. He goes on stage and some fucking psycho job. And
dude, I talked to Vinnie Paul about it. He, we were pretty good friends, and we were in Germany together, and he had this bodyguard named Cowboy. Cowboy was a man of few words, but he looked like he could kill you. But we were just sitting around drinking steins of beer in Germany. It was me, Vinny, and then it was David from Morbid Angel and David Vincent, and I know him really well. But he started talking to me about it, and because there's no way in a million years would I go, Vinny, what happened?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just it's like asking Paul McCartney, what do you feel about John Lennon?
No, but it's even worse on that level with Diamond Vinny. It's his brother and got his brains blown out right in front of him. I mean,
well, Vinny said some chilling stuff, man. He said he saw Dime go down. Yeah. And he said the guy pointed the gun right at him and started firing. Can you imagine that? Yeah. And then he said the only thing that saved him, he kept hitting parts on his drum kit. So the bullets were ricocheting off his kit away from him. He got lucky. It was almost like in Pulp Fiction. They put a million bullets in the wall. What? That's a tasty cheeseburger.
I learned something today.
yeah, you know what I mean? But yeah, it was scary, man.
At least we could laugh about it, man. That really fucked me up. I still am. Like my aunt, here's a weird story. Like when I actually edit this, I'm going to put the picture up on the Vulgar Display of Power. They were touring and stuff, and Dime, Rex, and I guess one of their road guys went to my aunt's show at the Hilton Hawaiian Village in like 1992, man. And I was backstage. I was there, but I had no idea who these crazy hillbillies were, right? So I was
Right,
like,
right.
didn't matter at all to me. But there is a picture I'll show you later, man. Well, anyway, getting to the point here is Pantera was a big part of my metal upbringing, as were you, but you were more shred guy. You were more like the technical side of like what alien life can
Yeah,
accomplish.
you know,
You know what I mean?
yeah, we were really into it, but I liked it. I mean, I really wanted to make metal guitar as technically good as other styles of music. I mean, jazz and classical, these guys ripped on their instrument. They wrote great music. Rock's always had great music, but sometimes the old school players of rock, the early guys, didn't technically play better than people that came before them. And now it's totally different. Now everybody's ripping.
All
And
right,
it's
so
great.
let me dive into my issues. So I watched your tutorials, the videos, man. I'm terrible. I smoke a lot of weed, so I'm terrible with names, but you know what I'm talking about. Like, take the keys to the Ferrari or Corvette, and
Oh yeah, I'm gonna give you the keys to the Lamborghini.
that's it, man. I watched that crap like religiously, dude, and like seriously, how? Okay, coming from the guitar guy standpoint, like you can play for years and stuff like that. And, like you don't develop the quick twitch, perfect staccato roll, all six strings up and down. And like I was watching, what's his name? What the hell is his name? Troy Brady. You were on Cracking the Code with Troy Brady, and he was pointing out that you've got this technique to where to rush the strings the way you do, 3 notes per string. You kind of rotate a little bit, which creates like an easier, you're not like jumping over the string, you're going 1 2 and then kind of rotate, and somehow you're fucking going up and down seamlessly every time. Do you notice that you're doing that, or does that shit just happen, dude? Because like they slowed you down, and like I've watched this shit like under a microscope, and you really are kind of like doing this little move. What the hell is that?
Gus G. We were talking about this a similar thing, and he goes, and my answer to that is, I don't know. It's slow. It's almost like watching a hummingbird in slow motion.
Yeah, there's so much shit going on when you jam,
because it's so fast. Here's what I do know. I'm not hurt ever. I feel great. My fingers feel great. My arms, everything. So what I'm doing, whatever it is, it's right. But I just call it economy of motion. For me, I just make sure point A to point B is the easiest, fastest way I can get to. And so I'm sure, when you slow anything down, even if you slowed a bullet down, you'd see it kind of moving a little bit. So was Troy right? Yes. But do I notice that motion? No, I don't. I really don't.
It's like over the top, man. And I've never, like, I'm a fan of Paul Gilbert, obviously Yngwie and shit like that. And, I even got into Richie Kotzen's solo shit for a minute.
Yeah, me too. I like him.
Yeah, he's out there. But like, you take the cake, man. I mean, you really do. You're like phenomenally bizarre, and you play ambidextrously. So I didn't know you were left-handed. So here's the fucking next question, buddy: is what the hell is up with that? And do you practice? Do you switch and practice equally, or like, because you literally have the craziest of guitars? First of all, like that weird little. And I'm gonna ask you where that came from a little earlier, and I think I know, but come on, that's insane. And you just, I was watching a Nitro solo, god damn it, and it was just, you're like, I think there was 4 necks at that point, dude. I don't know what the fuck. So how do you? Yeah, man. Like I actually tried doing that shit. I went to my right with the neck and I mean, literally, dude. I felt like so Down syndrome-y, man. I'm going like, oh my god, this is. I don't know how you do it. It's weird. Please explain that bullshit so that all us human beings can figure out what the hell you do.
Well, there's a few things. One, I was born left-handed. When you're left-handed, you're really a lefty in a righty world. I mean, scissors are made for right-handed people. A butter knife in an expensive restaurant. When I went to China for the first time, I didn't realize this because I was literally one of the first Western artists ever to go there and tour. I was the first Western artist ever to be on communist Chinese TV. I mean, I had to be vetted for it, the whole thing. But the first non-Chinese in the history of the the Chinese communist thing, and which is, 70, 80 years old. And why I'm saying that is when I learned piano, I learned how to do two parts at the same time. When I was in China for the first time, they sit in circular tables because there's so many people. When they saw that I held chopsticks in my left hand, they go, "No, Michael,
Oh, no,
no."
no, no. Oh,
They
no,
put
no,
it in
no.
my right hand. Years later, I found out they were trying to make fun of me. I didn't know at first. It was so new. I mean, I was the only non-Chinese person I saw in like 3 weeks. Literally, they were looking at me like I was some alien. And so when I put him in
Hey,
my
he
right
admitted it
hand,
here.
yeah, but when I put him in my right hand and I could do it right away, they were shocked.
Yeah,
And now
man.
when I use chopsticks, I don't even use my left hand. I'm so used to being right-handed with them. And so I had an advantage. Like a righty doing everything lefty is harder than a lefty doing things righty because left-handed people do certain things right-handed.
Since
Yeah,
childhood, you had to adapt to that right-handed
that's right.
world, man. And I tell you what, dude, let me talk to the people real quick. If you guys haven't looked
Sure.
into this mother god darner, like you need to, and especially the ambidextrous, how tight the staccato rolls are, just how bizarre, and his sweep picking. I mean, god damn it, do a little something just to let people know what the hell it is. I love it. Ah, fuck, man, this guy. Holy shit! How often do you practice these days, or are you just Michaelangelo like on a permanent basis?
Well, I mean, I get to practice enough. With COVID, I can't tour. So, every single show in the last show I was scheduled to do before we stopped was I was playing with Dragon Force, like a guest of Herman's.
I know.
At,
Yeah, I forget his name. The Asian dude.
yeah, Herman Lee.
Man,
Yeah,
I
Herman
got
Lee.
drunk with him a few times. He's cool as hell. Anyway, go
Yeah,
ahead.
he's great. Yeah, but he was playing in Chicago. He has this number where he asks certain guitar players up on stage. Sold out show. I couldn't do it. That got canceled. And it was in the beginning of March, right around a year ago, like maybe a week or so later than now. It'll be a year, but yeah, I get to practice what I can. But a lot of it now too, Marco, it's not just the playing. Like for example, Howard Stern's show today had Tom Morello. Tom was my student.
Tom was a student. Well,
Yes.
what the hell did you show him? Did you?
Well, people
like,
ask
polar opposite, brother.
Yeah, but he does the over under, not real fast.
Yeah. I do the over 100 because of you, man. Like I'm like, all right, fucking that guy. But
but Tom said he sang my praises like that. I put him on the path to practice the right way. I mean, I didn't. It's hard to teach something. Bulls on Parade and all that stuff, but that wasn't quite the right sound for it. But I've got a hybrid guitar here. This has got 23 different sounds. It's bizarre. It's a single coil and humbuckers, and it's amazing.
That's another question, man. You got your own model? Is there the?
Yeah, I've got a whole bunch of them. Yeah.
Check.
Yeah, like
look into
right
his stuff, people. I mean, Michaelangelo Batio. If you don't know who I'm fucking talking about, I'm talking to this guy right here, man.
Well,
all
thanks,
right. Yeah, dude.
But but I get a chance to do a lot of musical things with not just playing guitar. So it's really fun designing stuff and designing double guitars, quad guitars.
All right, let's jump into that, you crazy sack of crazy. Did Jimmy Page have anything to do with that? Like my buddy Keith actually asked, like the double thing, but that's completely not what you do. So like,
no.
Yeah, where'd it come from, man?
Well, I made a joke, when I first introduced it and said, Jimmy Page uses double necks. Don't call it a double neck. No, I got the idea from a jazz saxophone player. This guy was named Rahsaan Roland Kirk, and he was old. You can Google it, check it out. And he played multiple he played up to 3 at the same time. I only saw him play 2. He played 2 saxophones like this, and I'm looking at the TV
Oh
going,
shit.
"Whoa, dude!" And I said, "I will own you." I'm thinking of this. I will own this idea, dude. And so, I started developing.
Oh yes, it will
guitar.
be mine.
Exactly. And that's exactly what I was thinking. And so, but I started, what the difference is between this, it's a truly lefty guitar. So you got to wrap your brain around not just playing 2 at the same time, but one that's a mirrored opposite. So if you play parallel like this, you're doing the exact opposite thing. You've got to play like this.
All right, can you get your face closer to the camera so we can all see what your eyes look like? Because they're they're in the front of your face. They're not on the side. Like I'm noticing that. I'm noticing that. So how the fuck do you see this, man? Like what the hell? Like for real.
You know what? I don't look. I go like this. Because if I look, I'm screwed. It's dude. Like you start doing all this. So I just know what I'm supposed to play, and but yeah, I've been. There's the double guitar. It's really been fun. I
swear to God, I saw you with the 4-neck guitar at one point, and you're like going,
yeah,
right? Or am I just on acid?
Yeah, no, you did.
Wow.
You know who built that? Wayne Charvel from Charvel Guitars through Gibson. I have the only Gibson double guitar on planet Earth, and Gibson made that 4-neck. And then right after we started our first tour, we were on tour for about 3 weeks. It got stolen.
Shit! The original, the one.
Yeah, the original. I got 2 of the necks back too. And
sick the bounty hunters on that guy.
Yeah, man, it took us a long time to find it.
But you got it back though?
Only 2 of the 4. The top 2 guitars were 7 strings too.
No
so
shit.
It was really bad. Yeah, it was
dude.
Really cool
like, how
guitar.
often do you even pull that out on do you actually write songs with that sort of crazy stuff, or is that just like, hey, by the way, here's what I can do?
I write. I write for it. Because if I want to do something cool, like even Steve Vai was talking about this, because he did a version of my double with the harp guitar and gave me credit. He was really complimentary about it.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm sorry to cut you off, but like, I'm seriously, like, when I talk to people about you, that's one of the first things that come up. Like, obviously you're technically like a guru of all that is. Yeah, I got a name for you, dude. It's called Orokusaki. I don't know if you know the Ninja Turtles, but that was the shredder. And
yeah, okay.
Orokusaki. Yeah, my God.
Yeah.
All right.
I
Anyway,
just know him as the shredder, the master shredder.
Master shredder. Orokusaki. That's the shit. But no, that's the first thing everybody like says. Like, oh, you talking about that fucking guy who's like, yeah, man. So it's not like anybody else can really take that crap without it coming right back to you. You know?
Yeah.
What I mean?
Well, I was talking to Sebastian Bach. We were on that, that cruise, and he's like, he comes up to me. We're just hanging. He's like, dude, I used to see you in those ads and in Nitro. He goes, your image was extreme, dude. He goes, I told my wife, he goes, this motherfucker's got talent, man. You got fucking talent, dude.
Yeah.
And he was
welcome
telling
to
me
the party, Mikey.
Well, it was really great to hear it from him because, if people know me, I don't slam other bands because I know he had said stuff, he's not always the biggest fan of things. And I feel let other people do the talking. I do the playing. You know what I mean? So I don't like everything, but I'm not online going, oh, I don't like this. I don't get opinionated about things.
You're a league. You're a league above like most anything that's anywhere. You know what I mean? Everyone's gonna have their preference and say like, I like the blues. I like this. I love the blues. I love this and that. But like, you're awe-inspiring. You're the kind of guy that plays guitar like fucking Carl Lewis runs the 100. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we all run, dude, but like that's fucking motivating, you know? Like, holy shit, I need to go on a diet or something, But
I'll tell you, that's why I like basketball. Yeah, basketball's great. Just watching Jordan or, I was a big Phil Jackson fan. So I was a Lakers fan, but being from Chicago when Jordan was on the Bulls, it was hard to like any other team.
Right.
And then, and then Phil Jackson goes back to, he goes to the Lakers, and that was pretty mean too.
Yeah, that was
championships.
Awesome. I'm a freaking Lakeraholic, dude. Like my dad beat that into my head when I was a kid, but he also taught me to eat well, and I don't do that. So like I stuck with the shit I'm into, you know what I mean? But all right, well, hell, man, do you still jam with the guys from Nitro? That's an interesting question. I used to jam with. your bass player, what fucking TJ or something, you know?
Yeah, TJ. I saw TJ a couple of years ago. I was on tour and I do a version of Freight Train. So I introduced him. Yeah, he's cool. I talk to Jim Gillette all the time. And he's been really successful in real estate. And, he sings a little, but, I don't think we tried a Nitro reunion, but, and
I ain't gonna lie, no one gives a shit. It's just you, dude. You're the spectacle. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the guy could sing high, and yeah, it was dope and very, very decade oriented. But like, you transcend things to the point to where, man, at no time in the next 6,000 years, is somebody gonna watch you play guitar and go like, "Fuck that." You know what I mean? Like, that's incredible. So you are the commodity, dude. I ain't gonna lie.
Well, thanks. Yeah, and the thing that I got that I'm so happy about right now is I'm doing a lot of different kinds of music. I'm never going to slow down. So, people, if they say, I can still play all those songs, and so. And I do Freight Train in the original tempo. It was 200 BPM. It's not the fastest song, but the solo was actually worked out. That's the bizarre thing. And I think that's something about being in LA that I learned versus growing up in the Chicago area. All my friends that got signed and everybody that I know from the Poisons on up and, working with big producers, but you worked out your parts. It wasn't just getting up and jamming. Not that people didn't do that, but you had to work things out. Like even the solo and Freight Train.
No, I tell you what. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say it was 95% always the same. And I remember we were so intense on tour back then. Freight Train, as fast as it was sounding slow to me on stage. I remember thinking,
that's what happens when you're from K-Pax. God.
But
it's a different solar system.
But it got to the point where it's like that was our sound check song, and I'm playing it. I'm like, it was like cruise control. It wasn't even fast anymore. It was just crazy.
When did you snap into that? Like, I mean, you don't just pick up a guitar and suddenly be the cleanest, fastest fucker in the world. Like, when did that just start hitting? Like,
when I moved to California, because what happened was my aunts, uncles, my grandmother lived in San Francisco. So, I mean, I'd go out to San Francisco. My grandmother had hair past her knees. And she lived in the heart of San Francisco. So we go out as a kid and I go, "Hey, Dad, how come it's like warm out here? It's cold in Chicago." So my goal was to move back to California, and not San Francisco, but LA. But in Chicago is the area of Cheap Trick. That Midwestern kind of poppy sound. I mean, Eye of the Tiger, Jim Peterick is from Chicago, from the Midwest. So it's that sound. So I play like that's actually my upbringing. When you hear me playing a lot younger, yeah, it was really fast, but it was always melodic solos. And
yeah, no, you can still do what you did. What are you kidding me, man? It's like,
yeah.
If anything, you got like the feels even better. Like back in the day, I mean, I don't see you being much different, man. You can knock the shit out of that thing,
Yeah, I'm still just as fast.
Yeah,
but LA changed you. LA changed me because I not only thought like a rock star, I looked like a rock star. I had Paul Gilbert, Yngwie, all these contemporaries that are right there. I saw Yngwie's first show because I was on Shrapnel Records with Mike Varney too. And
what do you think about him? Do you like him as a human being, or
Varney?
No, Yngwie.
Well, Yngwie, I've met him only a few times. He's been very complimentary to me when we're cool. He's not the jerk that people always say. It depends. It depends on when and where. I've been in environments where, I'm not there to, I don't pull attitude with them. Just like Dave Mustaine.
I just interviewed Ellefson, by the way.
Yeah, Ellefson's great.
Yeah, he's awesome. I was asking him some weird shit. How did you get sober with this fucking guy? Like, like dealing with what he dealt with. Anyway, so there was a G3 thing back in the day. It was like Satch, freaking two other guys. I forget what they are.
Yeah, Satriani, Eric Johnson, Steve Vai.
What the hell is it going to take for you, Yngwie, Steve Vai, Satch, and Paul Gilbert to get together on some wild shit, man?
Well, it's very interesting you said that because I just had an agent contact me that wanted to put together Yngwie, me, and John 5. So I
Yeah,
thought that
John
would be a,
Five. He's cool as hell too, man.
yeah, he's good, good guy.
He's
Yeah,
weird. He
and
gets a lot. Yeah, he gets a lot of interesting. Like he's bizarre. He's kind of freaky to watch. You know what I mean? Also, he's
yeah.
out of the box stuff. But what the hell? Like, are you guys gonna do it? Tell me more. I want to
Well,
know.
I don't know. It depends on COVID, and but I'm scheduled to go to Europe for sure. I think things, who knows what the future will hold, but I'm planning on being on the road again in September, and so we'll see what happens. But those options are very open
Yeah,
right
dude,
now to
we
do.
got to bring that back. So let me backtrack, man. You were kind of like, I mean, you came up in the '80s as far as pop culture or whatever,
Right.
and like the look, the vibe, the whole nine. And then we got a little guy named Kurt Cobain. He goes, "La, la, la," and the whole fucking thing shits, paradigmy. How did you
Yeah.
cope with that? How did you maintain your like spearhead through the whole thing, man?
Well, I know Gene Simmons pretty well, and he said something to me a long time ago. He said, if you don't know who you are, no one will know who you are. And he said, you have to really have a sense of self as a person, as a band. So when the 90s hit, I said, okay, I got out of Nitro. Jim married Lita Ford. He went into real estate. I went solo and started writing songs, really prog, ultra shred stuff. And then I started touring. Our last show of Nitro was in October. By that next January, I played in NAMM in Anaheim, and I went to Europe. So I did more shows throughout the 90s because I was one of the only ones carrying the torch at that time.
That's when I
Everybody's
found
trying
out
to,
about you. I was
yeah,
too young.
everybody's,
Yeah, I was
yeah,
too young to
sorry.
know shit in the '80s, man. But so I picked up the guitar when I was 18. I was actually a piano player first, a basketball
Nice.
player first, but a piano player nonetheless. And yeah, my aunt, she does that acoustic Spanish shit, but I got like stubby fat fingers, and I'm not about to grow out my nails, you know. And I loved Van Halen, and somebody like I forget who the hell it was. I think it was my friend Tavana. Goes, you got to see this fucking guy, man. This is completely out of like the ordinary with this shit here, and this like just watch this. So I got your freaking whatever it's called with the keys of the Lamborghini thing,
Yeah, speed
and
kills.
for speed kills, dude. Fuck, like I couldn't believe that was happening, bro. It was just so out of the ordinary, man. So yeah, like so basically you just stuck to your guns, yeah, through all that shit. I know
That's it. I stuck to my guns, and that's exactly it. And the funny thing was, Seattle was one of my biggest markets. I remember doing a guitar clinic, and some young kid, I was taking questions. I don't remember what city I was in, but it was here in the US. And I said, okay, what's your question? He goes, guitar solos suck. And the guy was like, and everybody starts laughing, and they're like looking at me. And I said, I know that in this era
Yeah.
that nobody plays solos and songs. I go, don't worry. That for all of the guitarists in America that don't play solos, I'm gonna play enough notes for all of you,
Yeah,
so
no,
we're all
oh
covered.
yeah, we're gonna be good,
And
man.
everybody's like,
I'm gonna fill up your mind with every note you'd ever played, son of a
yeah,
fuck. Like it,
yeah.
no,
So
dude.
it's like, but I thought, what a jaded kid. He was only like, a kid, like 11, 12 years old. Why is he saying this?
It's fad like seasonal horse shit. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like I
Exactly.
and I was watching that some kind of monster or whatever fucking thing that Metallica did.
Oh yeah, Metallica.
I'm a
Yeah,
big Metallica fan, dude. I actually partied with Kirk Hammett, which was kind of funny. That we shouldn't talk
I
about.
got a
That
good
here.
Kirk Hammett story.
Yeah, I got one too. Hold on a second. And I remember like when they were sitting there at a table and Lars and James were like, we're probably not going to want any guitar solos on this album. Clearly writing the dog shit fad at the time. And
Right.
the only time I ever heard Kirk speak up, he's, you know what? Can I say something that I think is bullshit? He's got this like little like
Yeah,
so
yeah,
frail
kind of
and
girly,
you know
kind
yeah,
of
but
demeanor. Yeah,
he does
yeah.
his thing, man. Anyway, point being is how do you deal with shit like that? Did you ever talk any sense into these fucks and be like, like it, you understand people are gonna want technical, cool, actual shit, regardless of the
You're
three.
Metallica.
Yeah. You're fucking Metallica. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's not. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it's
and
not Nirvanica.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Whoa! You almost made me drop my computer. Nirvanica. What? Like that's funny. That is funny, man. That's very funny. No, but they kind of snapped back. Kirk's all whammy or all wah pedal these days. I don't think he's
Yeah.
really. I
Well,
like Metallica. I mean, I love Metallica. I got a lot of heart and love for Metallica, but
oh,
you know
me
what I'm
too,
saying.
man.
You know what I'm saying.
Yeah, they're
Like,
one of
there's
my
a
all-time
difference
faves.
between Michelangelo, of the Michelangelos of the world, which clearly can't even do what you do, and that kind of shit. So anyway, yeah, I'm not really a big
Well,
fad guy, to tell you the truth.
no, and you know what? The bands and the artists, you have to stay true to yourself because if you don't, if you jump on those different trends, it works for pop singers. If you're a pop singer, you have to change your image all the time. I mean, think of, Madonna. She was constantly changing. Katy Perry's, the Miley Cyruses. Those pop singers
That's
have to change their image with their songs. That's part of the deal. AC/DC does not have to change
No,
anything.
I've been wearing the same uniform for fucking 50 years, and I
Right.
ain't washed it once.
Yeah, I met Angus. I'm
Yeah.
pretty tall. I'm a little over
You're a little
6 feet.
taller than I am, man. I think I
Well,
can't remember. I'm 6'2", so but I remember
okay, you're
you.
not, yeah, I'm not as tall as you,
All
but
right, all
I'm
right. I remember you
I'm
were
like
up there though. I drink a lot.
yeah,
Don't
yeah,
worry.
I'm 6'1", and
All right.
but man, when I met Angus, I went because I was on Atlantic Records before Nitro, and I remember meeting him, going, God, he's like 5'5",
Ain't
and
that the
he's
weirdest
little, man.
shit, man?
Yeah, and he was so nice looking, like nice and friendly backstage, and he gets on stage and starts shaking his
Just
head. I'm
loses
like,
it. His
whoa,
mouth, like,
man.
dude. It's
Yeah,
funny.
but
It's funny when you see people on TV all the time and shit. Then you meet them in person. You're like, holy fuck! Hi, nice to meet you. Let me and real quick,
yeah, yeah,
So
it's kind of shocking, but you know what I did notice too. I remember when I first moved to LA, I needed a job like everyone else, and I was doing like courier stuff, like a messenger, and I was in Century City, and I was going up this building and to deliver a package to a law firm. And I remember
honey,
the elevator.
Michelangelo's bringing us a pizza.
Yeah,
You got
and
a tip? I mean, he's pretty fucking talented.
but
Hey,
man,
go ahead,
I
man.
remember. Do you remember that actress Lonnie Anderson?
I do. How do?
Uh,
Yeah, I
Well,
do.
anyway,
Burt Reynolds and Lonnie Anderson.
she was
Wow.
really
Kobe,
smoking
shut up,
hot,
man. I think Kobe's
and
chiming in.
I remember the elevator opens up and there she is, and I saw her. I'm like, it's like bring, shing, I mean, she
I've had
looked
many of
so
those
good in
moments.
person, and that's kind of the thing that I saw too. A lot of Hollywood, celebrities. A lot of them looked really good. Not everybody, but a lot of them looked really great in person.
No
You
makeup
know, yeah, it's just
and a
I don't know
cut.
what yeah, but they just were very handsome people. But yeah, that job was short lived. But I was lucky. It took me a year to get a major record deal when I moved to
What was
California.
what
One year.
was your
That was my goal.
what was your first
Uh,
paying gig? Do you remember your first, like, I'm getting paid to do this now?
yeah, I do. I was 13 years old, and I was in this band. We were a three-piece, and I can sing. And back then, my voice hadn't even changed, so I could sing Led Zeppelin and all that stuff. And we played at a local church. They used to have rock concerts. And I
Uh-huh.
remember as a three-piece band, yeah, every weekend, Friday and Saturday, they would actually sponsor these. And so you think about that now, it's like what? But anyway, we got paid $45. And I remember, my
At
parents
13
had a
back then, that's like $500, man.
yeah, we split it $15 a piece. I was like, my God, let's go to Arby's, dude.
Right.
But we didn't. I mean, that's the first money I ever made playing music was $15 for playing a show,
Uh,
and I just thought it was the greatest thing ever.
let me
It
ask
was like a teen center.
let me ask you a shit question. I don't want you to expose yourself or do any whacked out like things that you don't want people to know about you. Or yes, I do. That's up to you to decide. But did drugs and alcohol ever play into your game, man? Did you lose your mind on hookers in Thailand and shit? Like, was there any?
No, no. I mean, I'd be lying if I said I never tried it. I mean, I tried smoking pot, but when I was a kid, I tried smoking cigarettes, and like a couple, I just didn't like it. And then weed. What happened in Chicago? I could take a few hits and I'd feel fine. When I moved to LA, indica, skunk weed.
Yeah,
I'm like, holy
that'll knock you on your backside,
Oh
man.
God, dude, we lived in La Habra Heights. We had that. I was in a band called Holland. We got signed to Atlantic Records. We're all from Chicago. We all lived in LA, and everybody smoked pot. I mean, our house had more pot, more coke, and it was everywhere. and we had a big glass door going out to the pool. We were the top house on a mountain, one of the mountains in La Habra Heights. And I remember I would smoke pot and I would get stoned, and I had a guitar synthesizer, and I was like, and I'd start playing this on top of the mountain, stoned as hell. And I remember I would walk out to the pool going, I kept hitting that door. We all kept hitting that door. We had to put duct tape in a big square, so none of us would walk into the door. But the moral of the story is, I just don't have that personnel. Yeah, well, I don't really. No, man, I'm not a big druggie, and I stopped. I don't even like smoking pot. I can't do it. It makes my brain. It doesn't sit well with me. But I don't care if anybody does.
I smoke weed. I'm from Oahu. I don't know if that gives me a green pass or whatever, but like I did grow up on an island. No, I love weed. Nice. I've gone through my drugs, man. Like I tone it down these days. You know what I mean? And what I've noticed is if I do any level of an upper, I get so tense and so weird that I can't go fast. You know what I mean? So in I don't want to dwell on the drug shit, but in that sense, you got to maintain like a loose kind of, you know what I mean? Like because like if you tighten up too much, you're not going to be able to phrase. You're not going to be able to go quick. You're not going to be able to. So let me ask you.
And it sounds that way.
Yeah, and it does sound that way. Let me ask you a mechanical question. This is just for me, man. Where do you play? Like I know you like plant on your bridge, right? But is it more? Is it wrist, elbow, shoulder? What the fuck's going on?
It's not much shoulder, but see, I lucked out. Because there are two ways to pick. One is free floating. You watch a lot of guitar players.
Eddie Van Halen does his shit where he's not even fucking anchoring, man. I don't know how he does it.
Exactly. Not anchoring. Exactly. Free floating, not anchoring, same thing. Like this. That's the one technique. The others you do. You know, Yngwie, John Petrucci, me, a million guitars. It's about 50-50. What I found, though, because I was small when I was a kid. I was literally
as we all are.
Yeah, yeah. No, but I mean, like middle school, 8th grade. Yeah. I was like 4'9". I mean, I was tiny, and so my arm is like this. And when I grew, so see the thing that I do that saved my wrist. But how does a human wrist move? It moves like this. See, so my wrist.
Depending on what you're doing.
See, yeah, exactly. But
nothing. I said nothing.
But that's how my wrist moves. See, it just does. I do that, and it's a really natural motion that doesn't put any pressure. See, like picture your hand just doing that, like that. Right. See, it's more like that. It's a weird motion. See, it's not side to side. That's how you hurt yourself.
That's the fucking weird part. Like I when I watch Paul Gilbert and shit, it looks like he's going side to side almost, but every time I watch you literally are doing what you're explaining. Yeah, keep it going. I want to know more.
Yeah, well, it saved me from injury because think about basketball. You know, think about.
I love you, dude.
Think about, man. But it's like repetitive motion injuries. You know, if you're a pitcher and you do this, every day for like 10 years, or and you're in the major leagues and you're throwing 100-mile-an-hour fastball. That's, after a while, that motion, you just keep doing it over and over. It's repetitive. Same in guitar. There are so many people that have been hurt because they do the same thing over and over. See, when I play, your wrist moves like this. I'm hardly even moving my wrist. So really not much of anything moves. It's really, and I lucked out doing it, but I analyzed it. And that's like when I watch people play, and I've worked with some, really big names and playing guitar, but I'm kind of a coach where I can analyze immediately what's going on with somebody's playing and say, look, if I was you, I would watch this. I would adjust this because you have the potential to get hurt. And so when I actually analyzed my own playing and then analyzed other players like the Al Di Meolas, when you watch Joe Bonamassa plays with a closed wrist, but then he sometimes moves it like this. So it's really interesting to watch how people do it. And
do you stay positioned exactly the same throughout all of it? And
No, because I move it around because then
Okay.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Then
Go
there's
for it.
tone. You have to think about tone. So when it's the nuances. You move it around to get the right sound. Like I always get that kind of sound because I find
Because
a
you're
way
trying to
get it out of the
communicate with
guitar.
the mothership. I'm here.
But yeah, I made a science of this, and but I practice what I preach. It's and a perfect example is this. That's why I love Phil Jackson. He told Michael
Man.
Jordan, Michael Jordan won 3 championships. Quits basketball, goes into baseball, was less than stellar in baseball.
Let's just say less than stellar.
Yeah, like a 200 batting average or something.
Like, don't fucking play baseball, dude.
Exactly. Yeah, that's not what you were cut
You got
out
a
to
TV
do.
for that, man.
Yeah, but then he comes back. Well, you know what Phil Jackson told him? It was really interesting because they were, I was a huge basketball fan and still am. But he goes, the Michael Jordan of now he was in his late 20s is not the Michael Jordan of 20 or 21. He goes, that doesn't mean that he can't be as effective. He goes, when you get older, he said, you have to adjust your game. So what did Jordan do? Created the fadeaway. He didn't do a lot of fadeaways. So instead of going to the hole like Air Jordan, he'd back up and he created this shot that gave him, it didn't put as much energy on his body, and he still scored 30 or more points, averaged 30 points a game.
And got 3 damn fucking championships while at it.
That's right. And so I adjust my game. That's what I did with guitar. Like but this picking technique, as weird as it looks, it's super comfortable. And when you think about how a human wrist moves, I'm just doing a real slight motion like this. You can do this all day. I'm not hurting myself by doing this. You hurt yourself by a few things, but
I've got a few injuries I don't want to talk about.
Wax on, the wax off. The wax on, wax off. But, it's like...
Hey, if you're going to train to be a guitarist, you got to spend at least 6 hours in the bathroom, motherfucker.
That's right.
But yeah, dude, holy shit. So all right. So when it comes down to like, because you do that, you do like this thing, Speed Kills. I saw her. If I'm bringing back to that, it's where you do like a sweep and then alternate thing, like you're combining staccato picking with the sweep. That's all I'm saying. And it was fucking mind blowing, man. Like, how do you go as fast as you're going and know exactly how to... Yeah. Like, can you explain that shit, man?
It's just fast. I mean, you alternate pick a few notes, but it's got to go, it's got to stay in time. And you know what? I found I did that by accident. I was touring so much. A lot of what I like, the double guitar, all this stuff, I got ideas when I was on stage because, you want to be a performer and, anybody can smash and burn a guitar or flip their guitar. To say flipping their guitar is Richie Blackmore's. Not everybody can do that, but anybody can smash and burn one. And not saying that it isn't cool, but I just I started doing things on guitar because especially being in a band like Nitro and doing the ultra technical, ultra shred stuff, I started figuring out, man, I can do faster motions even.
You telling me that it took that fucking band for you to realize you could do that? You were
no. I was able to use it. I used it more. Yeah, because nobody would. Like when I was on Atlantic in the first band Holland, we were like more of a cheap trick sounding band. But Tom Werman, he produced, not Guns N' Roses, but Dokken and Poison and Motley Crue. He loved my guitar playing, but he wanted me to slow it down. I couldn't use all these ultra shred things until later, because and then on my solo albums, it's like, hey, I'll do what I want.
mind blowing. All right. So
Yeah.
how much of the pick are you using? Just the tip, and where does
Yeah. Yeah. You can
what
see
kind of
not
pick you got
much.
there, man? What's
Well,
what's the
well,
type of
I use Dunlap Jazz threes, but I also have my own signature
I was
pick.
about to say you probably have your own damn signature.
Yeah, and it's by that company Chromacast. They're huge. They're through Amazon, Walmart, and all that. They're part of the company, a guitar company out in Thousand Oaks, and it's actually Newbury Park. But anyway, I have my own signature pick that's like a Jazz three, but it's Delrin, so Tortex, I think Dunlap calls it, but it's Delrin, and it's great. They're
Sharp and
and they're pointed.
yeah,
Yeah, I
yes.
like those
It
sharp
looks
edges.
really freaking fang like, man. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah. You either hit it or you don't. There's no in between.
that's
It's like
what we all say.
yeah.
So
That's the way I.
as far as like there's got to be a level of confidence to pull those riffs off also. If you don't feel like you're going to nail it, like a lot of time, try it anyway, but it's not going to work out. Where does your mindset go to know that you're fucking robotically accurate all the time? Like what the hell's going on there?
I warm up, and I showed this, on the Speed
I would
Kill
like to see
series.
warm up like in a minute.
Yeah, I do very simple warm ups. What I kind of learned from studying classical piano is that there are so many great guitarists out nowadays. A lot of young people are amazing, and it's incredible. But the warm up is the key because a lot of the reason speed kills, and I'm going to give you the keys to the Lamborghini, is still really popular.
You know how surreal it is for me for you to be saying that shit to me, like really in real time. Like, look, guys, I'm a fanboy out real quick, man. I've been watching this fucking guy for years, and this is really cool for me. Anyway, go ahead.
Oh, thanks. Well, what I learned in studying technique on piano, if you want to be faster, if you want to be more accurate, you don't do these long, crazy exercises. You do short ones. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Then you combine it. So I use classical piano technique to teach guitar, and so a lot of players don't do. See, I think of it like an alphabet. I started A, B, and C, like if we were teaching Mozart or Bach or Beethoven, or they were teaching, they started at the basics, and then they moved up. See, a lot of guitar players start at J, K, L, M, X, Y, Z, and they warm up, and they're amazing. And then a couple of years later, they're hurt and they screw up, and they can't keep that because they don't learn the simplicity of a warm up. I do.
All right, look, hey, Mikey, let me introduce that. Michelangelo is going to show us what his warm up is.
But it's simple. It's simple. See, it's classical guitar. Fingers 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4. Just this. But every note, now I've got a distortion sound, but every note is clear. And so now I can do it on a clean sound too, but now that's kind of a funky sound. I don't mute it. I go. So I'll do that slow. And I'll do all 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 2, 3, 2, 4, 3, 4. All the fingers, all the way up to the 12th fret. Then the next part is 4 fingers. But look at my hand position. See, it's the hand position. Yeah, the hand position. You know what I mean? It's really, and see, another thing I do, I tell people, if you want to not hurt yourself, keep your arm closer to your body, like this. Because, see, a lot of people have problems with their shoulders. I don't. Because, see, I do it like, I play more like this. Even if you watch the old days. I got this idea from Van Halen. Why do you think he played like this? It looks cool as hell, but it's also comfortable as hell.
This is a hell of a shot, by the way.
Yeah, but, I mean, like, to get that ultra shred going, you can keep it. It's all this weird little things that I figured out that when it's like it's like bodybuilding or like fundamentals. Like, say you're a quarterback on a football team. What do they look for? They look for natural skill. Obviously, you got to be tall and all that, big. But it's fundamentals. See, they work on how to throw the ball, planting your foot back. I apply sports to guitar, but it's not a competition. I'm not trying to win the Olympics on it. You want to make cool
but
music.
you want to be better than the next fucking guy or the one before you. There ain't no damn way you're sitting around going, I am not this good to be like not as good. You know what I mean?
No, you're right. And that's the competition. It's not really with other people. I get asked, dude, let's do a shred off, man.
Let's go, man.
But my
We're
thinking
gonna
about that
sprint.
is, first get signed to multiple major labels and get in the league first. You don't just challenge the heavyweight, in MMA or a heavyweight champion to a fight. You've got to earn the right to challenge him. So that's what I never say that, but that's what I think. Like, anybody can challenge anybody, but you take the steps, you pay your dues, you go to rock and roll university too, and you survive it. Then you can challenge it.
Let me ask you
So
this, man. I know Nuno and fucking Betancourt.
Nuno's great.
I
Go
like
ahead.
Nuno. I like Nuno.
Yeah, me too.
I think he's cool.
Yeah.
Nuno and Ingve got all like harmonic minor and neoclassical and shit. What kind of scales you tend to? What's the Mikey pattern?
I use whatever I think works. I mean, yeah, the harmonic minor. When like when Ingve like.
Yeah.
But then if you start on the fifth scale degree, the Spanish Phrygian mode.
Oh, I've heard of it.
Then it's the same. It's the same scale, starting on the fifth scale degree. So
What's more
all this.
comfortable? Are you bluesy like pentatonic, or like do you? I mean, obviously you love those 3 note per strings and other good.
And I like 4 notes too. Like a lot of I use like a.
What the fuck just happened right there?
Yeah, I use 4 notes as well.
See how clean this son of a bitch plays it every damn time? Like, God. And don't.
But those are 4 notes except for the
interview. Like,
hammers.
it's unbelievable. So what the fuck was that? Was that just chromatic or what the hell?
Yeah, chromatics. I like to use chromatics a lot. And so if I had to say what scale do I use, I use any scale that fits the song in any key. I have no preference. Do I like certain things? Yeah, like a Dorian. You can do it in D or E Dorian. So like.
Oh yeah, that. Well, you've clearly met the devil. What's he like? And why did you sell your soul? Oh yeah, because you can do that. Holy shit! All right, well that is pretty cool, man. Are you a whammy guy, an effects guy? I mean, I know you got a little.
I like whammy bars, but not for just. Not just for doing that, but I like the sound of a Floyd.
Yeah.
It's tight. You know what I mean? There's like Van Halen probably would be Van Halen no matter what guitar he played. I mean, he would be. But without that Floyd, without that locking trem, there's a certain sound that trem makes.
Yeah.
It tightens things up. That's why Vai and Satriani and
Dimebag, man. Dimebag had me by the balls with his whammy.
It's that tight, yeah, and it's that tight lead sound that it's now people can get it without a trem. There's no question, but like newer guitarists like Andy James and all that, he's really good.
I love that you mentioned Andy James.
Yeah,
I just found out about that bastard.
Holy, he's in 5 Finger Death Punch. Yeah, he's great.
That's what the fuck he does.
Yeah,
I didn't know. I was just watching some weird ass like compilation where everybody is shredding over like this one song that some guy put up there.
Yeah, shred collab.
Yeah, it's sick. I was smoke some weed and sit there and go like, okay, like holy crap. But I noticed that he doesn't use a lot of his pinky, but it's still mental and stuff like that.
Yeah, he's like a super technical Zakk Wylde in a lot of ways.
Oh wow, you just said it, bro.
But he's great. I mean, he's really great. He's a cool guy. But yeah, he just right before COVID hit, he subbed for one of the guitarists in 5 Finger Death Punch, and now he's in the band. So that's his gig. But
I was watching him play guitar for a while, and then he talked, and I'm like, shit, you got an accent, man.
He's British. Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm gonna have to take off pretty soon. But are there any more questions, Marco?
Sure, absolutely. Will you move into my apartment for the next 6 months so I can hang out and fucking do this?
I'm gonna be in LA again in April, at the end of April. So maybe we can get together when I'm out there.
Oh man, dude, you're in the family, Mikey. Like you practically raised me. I should call you my uncle, bro. It's insane.
Uncle Mike.
Uncle Mike. So what's next for Uncle Mike, man? Just lay it down. How do people find you? And then we'll talk soon.
Yeah, they have that verification thing, that little check mark on Instagram and Facebook and all that. I used I don't go on Twitter much because it's too volatile. I don't like, it's too volatile. I can't even say the word.
It's
It
too
gets me
Trumpy,
aggravated.
bro. Fuck that.
Yeah, I just don't deal with it. I'm not there to start criticizing people and get into flame wars or anything. I just don't want to deal with it. So, but Instagram, I'm on TikTok. But if you just Michaelangelo Batio and the check, you'll see the verification. So I'm pretty much all over social media. So that's the best way. And then my website is michelangelobatio.com, but it's linked through my agent with Ticketmaster. So since we're not doing shows, there's really not much there right now, so that'll kick back into gear when COVID's over. And, but really the best way is on social media. I used to have this massive site, but websites, it's cool to have those, but I think social media is much better for
It's
me
a new
now,
day, man. It's a new day, dude. You can be 95 years old and become a rock star if you get the right following. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yes, man.
it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I tell you what, Mr. Michaelangelo, and I call you Batio because I'm Spanish and I don't know what the hell the pronunciation really is, but you say Batio, so I'm gonna go with it, man.
Yeah.
So Michaelangelo Batio, I fucking love you. Everyone watching
thanks.
fucking loves you, and check into this guy, and he will be back. I think he's moving in like what, next month?
April.
April. All right,
Okay.
man. I'll talk to you soon, dude. Thank you for showing
Marco,
up. General population.
Thanks. It's great talking to you. Great questions. Great time. Thanks, man.
Yes, sir. To be continued.